In the last screencast you watched, you learned how to draw a Bohr model of an atom. In this particular screencast, you're going to be able to answer this question. How do you know if your Bohr model is correct? So let's take a look at the sodium atom that we drew in the last screencast. There are two really important pieces of information that tell us where the sodium atom is going to be located on the periodic table. And that location will determine if we correctly drew the Bohr model. Now, the two pieces of information we need are the number of valence electrons and the number of energy levels in this Bohr model. So, sodium has one valence electron, or one electron in its outermost energy level, and it has 3 total energy levels. So here's what we need to know. The number of energy levels tells us which row or period we're going to find sodium in, and the number of valence electrons tells us the column or group or family that this element is going to be found. So let's take a look at our periodic table. Sodium has one valence electron. So that means it's going to be found in the first column. There it is. Sodium has 3 energy levels, so that means sodium should be found in the 3rd row. So that's one way in which you can check to see if your Bohr model is correct. So realizing this, you basically no longer need to draw a Bohr model of an atom. Because if you drew every element in this first column, all of those elements would have 1 valence electron. All of these elements would have 2 valence electrons. If we skip what I call the valley of the periodic table, and we go over to this column, all of these elements would have 3 valence electrons. These elements 4. These elements 5, 6, 7, and 8 valence electrons. Okay? Now we can use that same pattern to figure out how many energy levels each element is going to have. If you drew both elements in the first period or row, they would have 1 energy level. If you drew each element in the second period, they would have 2 energy levels. Again, if you drew all the elements in the 3rd period, they would have 3 energy levels. This row, 4 energy levels, 5 energy levels, 6 energy levels, and the maximum number of energy levels would be 7 energy levels. So there you have it. There are 2 patterns on the periodic table that relieve you of having to draw a Bohr model.